Yeah, we're doing this. Unlike most of my videos, which are me talking about One Piece and just showing my love for the series to y'all in my own way, this video will be me pointing out to what I think to be the biggest problem with One Piece. Now, there are a lot of videos on this topic about mainly the pacing or the lack of the majority cast holding up to par past their introductory arc, Brook and Robin. But despite those issues definitely being apparent, I don't find them to be even half as bad as what I have to complain about. And that's the lack of character deaths in One Piece. How do I say this without coming off negative? Oda can't kill off a fucking character to save his life. Character deaths in fiction to me can create some of the craziest storylines, have so much effect, and if written well can have both the audience and characters in the story equally shocked. A good death just gets you, man. Darth Vader, Aunt May, Aki. These deaths either have defining moments that basically change their character or cause the characters around them to change. The deaths that occur in One Piece definitely execute these factors as well, by the way. I'm not trying to criticize any characters that have died. But looking back on earlier arcs, you'd start to realize that a lot of these arcs, writing-wise, would feel a lot better if Oda just got rid of some of these characters, instead of just having them shown to be living anytime Luffy does something significant in the series. Like, why bother doing this? How many times do I have to see fucking Vivi and her goddamn kingdom? Now, to name a few examples, we have Pell, anyone in Skypiea that got hit by a nail that isn't a Straw Hat, Frankie's family, Bon Clay, Jozu and Vista, Mr. 1 and Mr. 3, and this is only just considering characters in pre-time skip. So I guess we'll start from there. To start with my first example, we have Pell, who legit intended on sacrificing his life for Alabasta for the goddamn public, and bro just straight up tanks a nuke. Now, I have a question. Why would you do this, especially after showing the fact that Vivi grew up with this dude, which would also, by the way, push her motivation to protect and run Alabasta? But instead, Pell just survives for some goddamn reason and lives to see another day. And I don't know why. His death would do nothing but benefit Vivi, and his sacrifice would be, a sacrifice. Next, we have basically any character that's introduced in Skypiea. Wiper's entire squad, Wiper, Ganfall, this girl's dad, basically anyone Enel strikes with lightning that isn't a Straw Hat. The reason I say this is because the potential for Enel to be the most intimidating villain thus far was definitely there. He was deemed a god rather than a king in Crocodile's case, and legit no one could touch him besides his one natural enemy, that being Luffy. Even before his appearance, Oda was trying to illustrate the intimidation factor by, showing these lightning strikes coming out of nowhere, and this dude is literally Jesus. Can you sit here and really tell me that this intimidation that Oda was trying to illustrate off of Enel wouldn't have been better if people that he actually tried killing with lightning died? Especially when these moments of Enel defeating randoms or even Ganfall was to show why he was running this place. How do you show that if every person you hit just survives, bro? Also, Wiper's case specifically had me fuming since he was using a dial which already can nearly kill him and was implied to do this. So imagine my face when I saw Wiper use a dial on Enel, basically already on the verge of death. He should already be dead, but he's alive. And then Enel nukes him with lightning, and Wiper is still shown to be alive.
Are you serious?
I'll tell you right now, I was absolutely flabbergasted. Now, Frankie's family not dying doesn't really make me mad, but I mean, it's just another example of deaths that would just do nothing but enhance our characters, specifically Frankie in this case. I also think it's dumb how they were basically sacrificing themselves as well, but just didn't die, and I also would apply this to others like Paulie or any of the strong dudes at Water 7. This goddamn plane in the background. I'm sorry, guys. Dude, gonna lose my mind. Now, not only did the plane in the background get me mad, but this next death we're going to talk about specifically gets me fuming. Bon Clay's sacrifice to many is one of, if not the saddest moment in the series, and perhaps even the saddest moment that you've seen in an anime. Well, guess what, people who think this and don't read the manga? Bon Clay is alive and kicking and taking Ivanka's place at Impel Down currently. I know a lot of you are probably like, hooray, Bon Clay's alive! But I find this to be honestly really weird, since the whole point of it was to show that Bon was the only one who didn't make it out, and the anime goes out of its way to show Bon Clay basically getting hit with Magellan's poison, and the only person who literally saved Luffy from that shit was Ivankov himself, so just to see him basically chilling now is kind of stupid. As for the last ones I mentioned for pre-time skip, I mean, I feel like Jozu and Vista add no purpose in the story, and their deaths would just impact Marco more, because we just know that Blackbeard defeated them and they disbanded. but they didn't die for some reason. I don't know why they're in the story. And Buggy would be moved from Mr. 3's death if this happened at Marineford before he gets betrayed, and maybe have Mr. 1 also gone, which makes Croc also the sole survivor of Baroque Works, or Baroque Works, whatever. I know you guys just hate me when I mistranslate stuff, so I already know I'm gonna get fucking jumped in the comments. But I don't know, maybe what I think is cool just smells. So anyway, let's talk about the characters in post-time skip that should have died. For this list, we have Smoker, Kuros, or, you know, the dude from Dressrosa, I'm sorry. Any of the scabbards that fought Kaido, specifically Kinemon, Orochi, and Kaido and Big Mom if they aren't confirmed dead yet. Now, for the first one, Smoker, I feel like wouldn't really be necessary for the narrative, but since he's a super likable character and hasn't done anything past this moment, I feel like this would just be a death that everybody universally would be sad from. And also seeing Aokiji holding back this rage while seeing the current position he's in would be a super cool character moment for him. And I feel like this is desperately needed since we are just now getting some insight on Aokiji. But I do think out of all the deaths we've talked about, this doesn't really ruin the story. Kuros not dying I feel like is weird, and it would push Rebecca along with most of the significant cast in Dressrosa, perhaps allowing people to be interested in these characters and get behind them instead of having a literal fleet of characters that nobody cares about. Now, before we get to Wano, I actually forgot to mention one death that 100% should have happened. Perospero. You basically killed another character off for no reason, Oda. Just kill him and replace the scenes in Wano with literally any other Big Mom sibling. Where is Katakuri? I love Whole Cake Island and it is still my favorite arc to this day, but my lord, this moment got me so mad. Now it's time for Wano. None of the scabbards dying, Orochi surviving Kaido's strike, and Big Mom and Kaido potentially not even being dead are things that have me completely bamboozled, if I'm being real, ladies and gentlemen. The scabbards' deaths not only push our characters and what they've been building up to since Punk Hazard, but having someone like Kinemon not die when Luffy arrives, showing that he's too late but he's going to save his country, would make the Red Rock moment 100 times crazier. But no, bro is just surviving a straight up smack from Kaido. Also, another death I forgot to mention that should have happened are the CP0 dudes. I legit don't know how they survived. And lastly, we have Orochi's death. Now, I think Kaido 100% should have just killed him initially because this was the moment that actually made me like Kaido. The whole reason why people like Kaido is that energy, that dog that he has in him. In a similar case with Enel, that dog in him gets contradicted when you literally smack someone intending to kill them and then they live. I think you guys get my point here. Every single potential death that doesn't happen that I've mentioned usually is just cutting the tracks of a greater narrative. And honestly, besides smokers, every death that I mentioned would benefit a character in some way, shape, or form, or just enhance the arc this particular moment happens in. I always will love One Piece, but my god, this is without a doubt my biggest problem with the series. And comment down below what's your biggest problem. And let me know down in the comments as well if you guys want more One Piece analysis like this in the future. Thank you guys for watching and staying to the end. Follow me on Twitter as I'm pretty funny and I make your grandma laugh and retweet all my stuff. And be safe, ladies and gentlemen.